BBC Three Counties Radio for beds, hearts and bucks. At 19 minutes to 1 o'clock now. When Tess Milligan's mum was an inpatient at the Hospice of St Francis, Tess suffered severe panic attacks and was unable to go to school as her anxiety was so bad. With her mum diagnosed with terminal cancer, she didn't realise that the two could be connected. I'm really, really lucky to have Tess here. Thank you for joining us at Three Counties Radio. And thank you for wanting to openly talk about this.
Yeah.
You lost your mum, and that I can't put myself in that position. I have both my parents. So what you've gone through is just it's unthinkable for people. But you're here, and you're standing stronger than ever, and you're going to drama school, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
Couple of weeks time.
I know.
Nervous.
3 weeks time. I'm nervous, but I'm excited.
It's going to be amazing. Which one are you going to?
Oxford School of Drama.
Ooh, look at you. How long is the course for?
It's a foundation course, so it's 2 terms, and it's like a step up to a full-time course.
Then a full-time course coming after that, maybe?
Well, fingers crossed.
Yeah. Looking back a couple of years ago, you lost your mum when you were 17?
Yeah, 17.
I mean, at the darkest times, could you imagine that you'd be doing this where you are now?
Not at all. I couldn't imagine that, I'd be in the part of my life where I'm at, that I'd be so happy and so calm. Obviously, you mentioned the anxiety, and I can't believe that I'm at the point where I'm, sitting in a radio station actually talking so openly about it, because I never used to talk about it,
Right.
not even really to my friends.
So let's go back then for people listening to this. Your mum was diagnosed with a cancer.
Yeah.
And at what point down the journey did you start having to use the Hospice of St Francis?
Well, she was diagnosed when I was a baby, so
Right.
I was a few months old, so I don't remember any, sort of big shock diagnosis.
Okay.
It was all I knew was that she was ill, and that she had cancer. But when you're a child, you don't really understand
What it is.
what that means. Yeah. And I didn't start using the hospice until I was 17, until she was very ill. But she had used it pretty much all through her diagnosis, because it's not just there if you need it at the very end of your life. It's also there as like part of the process of having a serious illness, or being the family member or a friend of someone who has a serious illness. She used their Pilates classes, they have art therapy, they have so much going on that isn't.
I think I'm based around this area, Dunstable and Luton, so I know of Paskin Keach, a hospice in this part of the country. But this terrible presumption I had was that it was just for those dark few last days. It was where people went to die, and that was all I thought these were. Because we used that in that way for my granddad, because he found out right at the last minute that the cancer had become terminal, and he used it for his last few days. I went round there the other week, and the amount of just happiness and positive things that are there, and people just using it for respite, and and they're not even thinking of their last days. It's just, there's so much more to a hospice than I think we realise.
Yeah, that's what's so amazing about it, is that if I took you to the Hospice St Francis, didn't tell you it was a hospice, covered up all the signs that said it was a hospice, I don't think you would be able to tell me that that's right. What it was. Yeah. It feels like such a warm, light place. I mean, I went there for their teen drop-in sessions, which are for other teenagers who have parents who have serious illnesses or who have faced loss. And at first I thought, oh God, I don't want to go here, because my mum's just, over in the building along down the corridor. Is it going to be really weird? And it's not like that at all. You walk and it's so warm, it's so light, it's so friendly. It doesn't feel like I think there's a lot of misconceptions about what a hospice is like.
Totally.
And it really is an amazing place to be.
So you were having these severe panic attacks. It was struggling to go to school, anxiety, ruining day-to-day stuff.
Yeah.
And so the hospice helped you as well.
They did, yeah. I got one-to-one care, like counselling sessions and things like that, just to be able to. And I never really opened up before then about, my mum's illness and what my whole family was facing.
Why do you think was that? Were you trying to be tough and not put any burden on your mum or your family because they're her problems, they're not your problems? Or was it just because you're a quiet person, introverted? Or
I think it's because, growing up we would, I didn't really understand fully the seriousness of the illness. And I had never really acknowledged it for truly the extent of what it is. To a certain extent, that was a really good thing growing up as a kid. Otherwise, I might have been having panic attacks for 4 years.
A lot for a 7-year-old, isn't it?
Yeah. But it was that. So I had never really opened up about it. I think that was just my personality, and now I'm the total opposite. I understand now the importance of talking about it, because as soon as I started talking about it, the anxiety lessened and lessened and lessened. I stopped having panic attacks.
Just like that.
Pretty much. Wow. I mean, it wasn't to say I went in, I spoke about it.
Perfect day one. Yeah.
Yeah, but as I've opened up more and more and worked sort of through the grief and all the emotions, instead of it being internalized and manifesting itself in anxiety and panic attacks and not being able to concentrate, it's instead, it's kind of cathartic to talk about it. And
your mum would be so proud of you. How you're talking now, though, it's so grown up, though. It's you've analysed what's going wrong and people don't do this. What am I doing wrong? What's going wrong? And how am I going to fix it? That's brilliant stuff. The teen drop-in, then. I mean, what were you doing there? What was happening at those teen drop-ins?
Yeah, I mean, when I was invited, I was really nervous. I wasn't sure if I was going to stay, because I thought, are we all going to sit around and talk and
in a
cry?
Circle.
It wasn't like that at all. It was, you go, there's loads of other people who are, warm and friendly and lovely to talk to, and you all just talk about whatever it is you want to talk about, and there's no pressure to talk about if you're going through a tough time. But if you want to, you can, and you know that you're surrounded by people who get it, and that's what makes it so comfortable. Is there's no pressure, but you know that if you do want to open up, you're in a place where you're in the perfect place to do so. And that was really, really helpful.
And were you using it whilst your mum was still alive?
Yeah, I was. So it would be, I might have, come home from school if I'd managed to go into school that day, come to the hospice, see my mum in the visitors centre, have a nice afternoon. We ordered in pizza once. And I'm not sure if we're allowed to do that. But
you'll give other people ideas.
And then I'd just hop along to the Spring Centre, which is the other part of the hospice, and go to teen drop-in. And it would be, and for some of the sessions, it was just a really nice sort of escape. You can all sit around and I can talk about the other sort of normal things going on in my life, like, my A-levels.
Gosh. And I bet it was, you were doing your A-levels at the same time, so that was hard. And
it was really difficult, especially because being at school was so difficult, because the whole time I was just thinking about my mum the whole time. And then after she died, you've got this sort of avalanche of emotions and things that you have to work through, and that made it really difficult, because I felt like I can't be doing exams right now and revising for different things and writing essays. I've got to focus on other things.
After she died, did you feel that day was when you can't go to the hospice anymore because your mum's not there, or did they make it still feel that you were very welcome there?
Yeah, I kept going back for teen drop-in. I still had some one-on-one counselling sessions, and it's just the kind of place that actually I love going back to, and I didn't think I'd say that. I love going back there because, for starters, I have so many amazing memories there with my mum.
Yeah.
They're not. I don't think of them as dark times necessarily, and it's just the most welcoming place. It's really like it's a community of its own.
I spent an hour there, 2 hours there at tops, and it was, it just was amazing. Bombarded with this and this and this and this. And you've seen the new garden.
Yeah,
you've seen the Chelsea Flower Show garden.
Gorgeous,
when they open that in a few weeks' time, amazing. So I think they're doing tickets for that. Actually, I think you can go along for the grand ribbon cutting, but it looks amazing.
Yeah.
You wouldn't stick that in the front garden of a hospice. So, did I hear that you passed your driving test?
I did last week.
A couple of days ago.
Yeah,
amazing. And have you driven here?
I didn't. I got left. I know. Sorry.
We were thinking this was it. This is the big drive, the first motorway drive.
No.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, things are really happening for you then, and Oxford soon.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Are you living away for Oxford, or?
Yeah, I'm moving up there.
God. Gosh. Oh, look, I wish you the best. I wish you the absolute
so
best.
much.
Thank you for coming in. Thank you for talking about it so
No
openly.
problem.
Because I think there'll be people out there who don't know things like this exist,
Yeah.
who are suffering, thinking they can't. Their parent is in one of these hospice. They're facing, terminal illnesses,
Yeah.
and they think, oh, I've got to be quiet because they're the suffering one. I've
Yeah.
got to just, But
Yeah.
we're all in it together, aren't we? It's
Exactly. You'd be surprised when you open up just how many people reach out to you and welcome you with open arms and help you through it. The more you internalise it, the more difficult you will make it for yourself. It's better to open up and talk to. There are so many people who you find care about what you have to say and what you're going through.
Tess, thank you so much for joining us today. You look after yourself.
Thank you.
Have a
You
great
too.
time at Oxford. I was there at the weekend. I was
Really?
there at the weekend. Had a little weekend away. It's a great place.
Lovely.
An amazing place.
Yeah.
Look after yourself, and we'll see you soon, yeah?
Thanks very much. Will do.
BBC Three Counties Radio for Beds, Hearts and Bucks. 8 minutes to 1.